afternoon and welcome. We're so happy to have with us. I'm Chrissy Coley. This is my husband Tim. We're the chairs of the Carolina Parent Council. On behalf of our executive committee, which is here today, thank you for submitting an application for that funding. We very much look forward to hearing about your proposal today. As far as the structure of our time together, you'll have 7 minutes to present. Okay. Mr. Corporate will hold up a sign to let you know who you are, and then we'll open up 3 minutes of questions.
Sounds great. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. My name is Jason Kinnear, and I'm the Associate Dean of Study Abroad and Exchanges here at UNC. And UNC is already an extremely large and very successful study abroad program. But our goal as a university, and it's built into our strategic plan, is that every Carolina student would have a global experience. So I'm here to not just talk about helping students study abroad, but how could we help them infuse global activities throughout their whole curriculum, specifically for first generation students starting out with them. And so what we've called that is Firsts in Flight. So Carolina already has the Carolina First program, and we want to be able to help them take flight and explore the globe either through courses here at UNC or by studying abroad or different things like that. And our goal through the Global Guarantee is to prepare tomorrow's leaders to pursue global solutions. It's a global economy. Many of you who work in all sorts of areas of nonprofits and for-profits and government, everything that we do has a global dimension. And we want to help prepare Carolina students for that role. And so the First in Flight overview is what we're hoping to do is to create a very targeted and specific program that has a lot of mentoring and activities for first generation students. First generation students oftentimes have overcome a lot to just come to Carolina, and they're not even thinking about global stuff. It might be a big step for them to come from Appalachia to here, or even to other places here within the Triangle. Just to come to Carolina can be a big step. And we want to help them understand that the next step of having a global education is very attainable to them. And this will be done through a series of specific targeted outreach to those students. We'd work with admissions to identify them when they're admitted, and then we would engage with them. We would provide them with lots of resources. We would create targeted special workshops and activities for them. And then we would also have some resources that we provide to faculty and staff on campus. So it'd be things that faculty could give to students when they talk with their advisees, when academic advisors talk to their students as well. And then some dedicated resources for parents. So since a higher ed experience is different for a first generation student than for their parents who didn't go to college, a lot of this is going to be new. So we want to have targeted resources and activities just for those parents to help them understand the benefits too. So here's just some of the different types of activities that we would be pointing them out and setting up special activities for. We have languages, the diplomacy initiative, collaborative online learning, global programming and cultural exchanges here on campus, and of course, study abroad, which includes research, internships, and all sorts of things, both domestically and internationally. And so we're seeking funding to create a set of activities, again, through intentional engagement, very proactive mentoring, pairing first-gen students with students who have studied abroad so that they can have that peer-to-peer engagement, but then also identifying faculty and staff champions to engage directly with first-gen students. Again, targeted resources for our faculty and staff, and then also increased outreach to parents. And this is just an example of some of the things that we already do that we would augment for these students and create really explicit resources for first-gen students so that from the moment they arrive at Carolina through a study abroad experience and then through their graduation, they would have a touch point with our office and other units involved in global activities across campus. So our funding request is again focused on creating materials. So that would be paper and web resources, things that we can hand out to draw students in, but then also things that they could read and review on their own time. It would be specialized events and activities, 101 sessions, resume builders, how to land an internship, working with Career Center, working with other units across campus, and then some really top-notch, very professionally done videos so students could read to watch videos and review things on their own time so that they don't just have to come to our office. That's all.
Yes, thank you so very much.
Yeah, of
for
course.
your presentation. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Scholarships. This is kind of a two-part question. The first question is, how well received are the passport scholarships? Like, what are your outcomes with numbers of students that actually receive those? And then how do you see this program enhancing, and what are the outcomes you're measuring for this program to get the passport scholarships?
Yeah, so the passport scholarship is a separate thing that we're already doing in conjunction with the Carolina Asian Center and Ambassador Phillips. So we have the Phillips Passport Initiative. And so we've given out 175 passports to new students. Which is the maximum amount we have for funding right now. But we're hoping to get additional funding that's not part of this today, but this would be just something that would augment that. So we would be able to help students that didn't get the passport through the Phillips Passport Initiative. We could use our activities to have passport workshops to help students understand how to get a passport. We've also talked about, for first-gen students that were in this program, hiring buses to take them over to NC State, to their passport office, to guide them through, and also co-sponsoring possibly a passport fair here on campus. And so funds that would give us funds from the grants that we've applied for we would use, instead of using our own office money for materials and videos and things, we'd be able to use that funds to help increase the numbers of passports we give out. And the goal is that eventually every first year student who doesn't currently have a passport receives a passport. And that's what our ultimate goal.
I love the focus on passports too. My question is surrounding the videos. Did you do some consumer testing, or did you ask students, is there demand for these videos? I see a lot of videos created and not a lot of people watching them.
We actually do have some just general 101 videos on our website already, and we do Google Analytics with those, and they do have a high click rate. And in fact, a lot of students tell us that they don't come to individual appointments or in-person 101 sessions because they've been watching the videos. So from that perspective, the videos that we have created already are working, but we would try to work with these students directly to create videos that are most impactful for them.
I just had a question about the on-site support for first-gen students. What does that look like that might be different than the support you might provide for other students?
Yeah, that's really a great question. So one of the things that we've really tried to hone in on over the last year or so is trying to help link students with programs that are going to fulfill their needs personally, professionally, academically, and support-wise. And so when we would talk to students, because of the one-on-one engagement and mentoring, we could really understand what do they need in terms of support, because out of the nearly thousands of programs that we have, everyone has different levels of support. And so then we could steer a student who says, hey, I'm very independent and I can do this on my own. Okay, here's an exchange. And then for a student who says, hey, I really want something more, I want on-site staff and more engagement, we can steer them towards another type of program. One change that we did make out of the pandemic is that every program that we have in our portfolio still has some level of on-site support, just some are more robust than others.
Okay. Out of time. So Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Remind you that you'll hear from the Office of New Student Assembly. It'll be in April.
Okay,
That we'll inform you about that.
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As a heads up, folks, our next presenter is on the West Coast, or Seoul Zoom applicant, participant. Rosemary and I have been keeping tabs, just seeing when she pops in to allow her ability to come off mute, present, et cetera. So we are just in waiting. Lady in waiting. Rosemary, can you also keep an eye out on the family's inbox in case they email with any concerns? Thank you. There you go. There's your other view. This is the problem with Zoom, right? Just come on right at that moment, you know? Lifetime.
How am I supposed to notify them? For them? How do you want me to notify them? Can they see the call? We shouldn't put the camera on me because they get distracted. They're looking at these podcasts. There's just no way. Leave, try to focus on me. Right.
We can type them
Got
out.
us before you.
Notification.
Oh.
Go into communications area with her and she could just drop like
Okay.
5 minutes left, 7 minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will that work?
That works for me.
Okay.
We can let her. Know to expect it to. Maybe for her.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. The benefit.
The nets are moving. Interesting. Are we ahead of schedule? Well, they know.
Right,
Okay.
there, so they're the one.
Okay.
Like two.
Well, Easter. I know. Easter time, world. Balls around. Send the invite. We do sign up, thing. But I mean, where everyone else is on site. Rather be intentional about. West Coast, you said, typically take like a quarterly visit. Maybe. It's a professional and management program. It's my.
Maybe there's updating.
Yeah. I know, don't you hate when that happens? Just as you're getting ready to.
No emails? Do we get voicemails on there? Like the thing?
More Russian election.
I think you're onto something. I know as soon as we pivot to like, you know, this stuff thing, like, they'll pop on. But 2 minutes after is not encouraging when there's a 2-minute interview.
My Zoom is not.
Internet, email across the country, so delay. If they run into through the room out of breath, just flew in from California, bore my arms. We're caught up, right? So really, it's.
But I do think that when we get to, if they were to come on, I think that we keep moving.
Let them know, hey, you've missed your opportunity. And if somebody comes in early, but during this time, which we're already in, let's just go ahead and get the next people in. Let folks know.
Just want to get them in.
Yeah. Confirming again, nothing on email, no voicemails.
The time confused because the time changed. Maybe you said such and such time, our time, and they maybe misunderstood. I think
It's possible. I was just sharing, you know, I told them that it would all be on site, and they had a special request to do it via Zoom. And I said, well, yes, you may sign up and do one. My presumption is, well, everyone else is on site. They know that they're the only person.
Right.
Um,
I mean, maybe not, I don't know, because I know we're in this whole digital Zoom world now, it's kind of beyond our wheelhouse, but I don't know, there's just something for being in person.
Showing up late is a
Yeah.
real disturbing. Way to give your best effort. Full bus. Oh, man. Wow. Did your kiddo? No, bummer. Bummer. Oh, a hot ticket. Well, folks, as you can tell, we are 4 minutes past the time we would have started the Hollywood internship program. This was our only Zoom participant today in terms of an applicant. They are currently on the West Coast in chatting with the Coleys, Patels, James and Rosemary. We've been monitoring our families.unc.edu at unc.edu inbox just to see if there's any hurried message of, oh, I can't figure this out. Can you please help? We also receive all of our voicemails there as well, and we haven't yet to see anything. And it's pretty quick to come if it's come through. So my assumption is either there was a severe misunderstanding in terms of everyone else here is on site and on East Coast time. My presumption is that would have been semi-given. They did have to ask special permission to come on the Zoom. So as part of my trigger for surely they must have known 1:45 is 1:45 Eastern. So with that said, we're going to take a look and see if folks are here for the next interview. Bring them in early, if willing and able, and journey forward. If they are to come onto the Zoom space, they would not automatically pop up on the video. It is set as a webinar, so they would show up as an attendee first, and we could chat with them to basically say, you were late. We're certainly willing to hear what reasons there are, but we cannot guarantee there's going to be a rehearing of your interview. With that said, I'll pop out and see if we can journey forward. Thank you all. Nothing? Oh. Hello. Vic. Oh, excuse me. Jenny's going to get them squared away, and then I'll turn it over to you, Tim and Chrissy. And he was communicating with all participants this week, including the person we are currently not seeing, and has not heard back. So we're unsure what's happened there, but rest assured we had lots of communication their way in effort to get them here. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Here.
Hi, welcome. It is great to see you. My name is Chrissy Coley. This is my husband, Tim. He is we are the chairs of the Carolina Parents Council. On behalf of our executive committee here today, we are very excited to have the opportunity to hear your proposal for grant funding. Thank you for submitting an application. As a part of our session today, you'll have 7 minutes to present your proposal to us. Mr. Corpening will hold up a sign to let you know where you are with your timing, and then we'll open up for 3 minutes of question and answer. So thank you.
Hello. Oh, perfect. Carolina Scientific started off in 2008 with the main goal of spreading science and making it accessible to all students, regardless of major, income, or whatnot. So every semester we have students interview PIs, which are just principal investigators around campus, to kind of learn more about their research. And so they'll interview them, they'll write an article that'll undergo 2 rounds of editing, and then we'll print it using either Senate funding or sometimes Parents Council funding. And then we'll distribute it around campus, around libraries and whatnot. So mainly the main goal is to kind of make complex scientific research around Carolina or UNC accessible to STEM, like non-STEM majors, and anyone else who kind of wants to learn more about what's going on around campus.
And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about budget and funding. So we are requesting $3,000 from the Parents Council. What it takes each semester to produce these magazines is $4,000, and that mostly goes into the printing of 300 copies of the magazine to meet student demand. And these magazines are about 90 pages, including the front and back of each page, and we're able to print between 30 and 40 student articles. And we would also like to allocate some of the funding in the future towards subsidizing t-shirts. So everybody in the club can get these shirts for an affordable cost, and also buying magazine racks for our distribution sites. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about why we need this funding and our impact on campus. So we have 3 main ways we are impacting Carolina in a very real way. The first would be just spreading science and fostering a community where students can really practice their passion for scientific research and continue to learn and explore different ways they can communicate science research to a public audience. A lot of STEM students won't take like an English or writing class after their first year. So this is really giving them a space to continue writing for a public audience and spreading their love for science. We also just give students that chance to actually be published and to interview PIs, interact with labs on campus. And the third thing, as Isaac
So just in conclusion, we're basically just a student-run, student-led organization with the main goal of making science really accessible to students of all kind. Every semester we give these out for free. So it does help, this money does help to pay for that, pay for shirts, and pay for magazine racks, just so we can have somewhere to put them every semester. That makes sense? So if you guys have any questions, would be great.
Isaac and Natalie, thank you very much. Do we have questions? Jennifer.
Yeah, I don't know where we got the 1,000 from. I think that might just be a typo, but every semester we attempt to print out 300 copies. Each copy from the Carolina Union print shop, which is just the one at the union costs us $13 a copy. So that comes out to just over $3,000 total. Of course.
Yeah. I'll also add to that that those are our printed copies, but we also have a website where we have like archived copies of the magazine so people can access the copies through there as well.
See, I'm gonna start with Angela right here.
Hi, thank you. I love this. I love that we supported you guys before. I love the articles that I see in here. And my question is, how do people become aware that this website's available?
The website or the organization as a whole?
Well, all of it, but you know, like, how would somebody know to look for the Carolina Scientific and be able to see the articles?
Besides like just seeing them around campus, like around libraries, every semester we do have a sort of like an outreach event every at the beginning of the semester. So like something like Small Fest around campus, which is just like clubs go around the pit on tables, and then a bunch of like freshmen, sophomores, things like that. They'll come around and then we'll basically introduce ourselves, what we're about. We'll distribute some magazines there. So a lot of freshmen like to join us fall semester and spring semester based off of those sort of outreach events. And I think we've had a lot of success. We've had like over 200 emails added to our listserv every outreach event that we've had.
Yeah, we also have an Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn account, so students often find us there. And we have a few hundred students on our listserv, so we are able to reach people quite easily through email to get them coming and writing.
I think we have time for one more question. Christy? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Peter.
Hello. I feel like there's an opportunity for you all to push out these.
Absolutely. And part of a new initiative we've kind of started in the past couple semesters is having a tab on our website for what we call blog posts. And these are essentially shorter, condensed versions of our articles that students can write if they're not meeting the writing timeline for the regular printed articles. So we do have our blog posts, but I think that's a great idea to incorporate that on our social media platforms so we can reach more people.
Hey, well, thank you. I'm sorry we've run out of time. So I'll just remind you that you'll hear from the Office of New Student and Family Programs. They'll inform you of the status of the grant in April. It's when those decisions are made. And thank you all very much for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Friends, thank you so much for your patience. We're having some battery issues with our microphones. Marcus is going to go help us retrieve more batteries, so we'll hang tight as best we can with what we have for the next presentation. We'll get it remedied.
Take a picture of that. Picture of the inside of it.
I'll do that if you want to.
Well,
Which one? Yeah.
These are not, no, they look like it, they're like it. No, they're not, but they look very difficult, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's how you know. Yeah. You know that about these flowers, or the real ones, peonies, that they have ants, that's what.
All right, folks, our next group is here, La Conferencia. Hello, welcome.
And so, so the ants, yeah. Oh my gosh.
We're having some battery issues.
Okay.
So it's not.
So this one's.
Hello, welcome. We're so happy to have you here with us today. I'm Chrissy Coley. This is my husband, Tim. We're chairs of the Carolina Parents Council. And on behalf of our executive committee, which is here today, thank you very much for submitting an application for grant funding. We are very excited to hear your proposal today. You'll have 7 minutes to conduct your presentation. Mr. Corpening will hold up a sign to let you know where you are with your timing. And then we'll open it up for 3 minutes of question and answer. And so thank you again for being with us today and welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I'll go ahead and start off by introducing myself. So I am Rosario Castillo. I am a double UNC or Tar Heel. I completed my undergrad here in 2019, where I graduated with psychology, sociology, and Latinx studies minor. I'm now back for grad school, completing my doctoral or PhD in school psychology, and I'm primarily interested in working with the Latina population, specifically around academic and psychological well-being. And so one of the projects that I am in charge of or work with is La Conferencia 2024. I've been on the committee the last 2 years. So about the conference or La Conferencia means conference in Spanish. The purpose of this is to provide a space for Latinx students, staff, faculty, and their allies to network and create discourse about access, social development, education, positive communication, wealth creation, and cross-cultural understanding in a Latinx-centered setting. This is a space for people to come together annually to create dialogue and to exchange information in order to empower the next generation of Latinx thinkers. And so what makes this conference unique? Why do we want to work with you? It's because this is the only conference focused on the experience of Latinx members or Latinx community members or allies in the southern region of the United States. So most of these conferences take place in states that have dense Latinx populations, for example, California, Texas, Illinois, New York, etc. But as we all know, there has been a boom in the Latinx community, especially here in North Carolina. And so we want to make sure we're creating spaces and investing in these programs. So it's a 3-day event where people connect, they share knowledge. We discuss topics around economic development, identity, education, academia, giving back to the community, future planning. And we try to attract diverse perspectives into UNC's campus. So we are intentional about having this at UNC's campus because we want to make sure we attract people from all over the state. And so we establish spaces that are conducive to promoting empowerment and amplifying the voices of individuals who have faced marginalization or suppression in the past. Again, it's centrally located in the state to make it easy for everyone to access it. Right now, we're set to have it next weekend, and we've already received registrations from people all the way from Charlotte to UNC Wilmington. And so we have reached a wide range of members here in North Carolina. And we also bring together past, current, and prospective college students in order for them to collaborate and discover new professional opportunities. And we're also just trying to build a network of Latinx professionals around the state across multiple disciplines. So we have had around 100 to 116 participants. We reach out to student organizations at UNC and other colleges, universities to increase attendance. We increase our social media presence on campus, and we're also making sure to promote during campus events. The universities, like I mentioned, that have attended before are UNC, UNC Charlotte, UNC Wilmington, Meredith, and even members from our community colleges here in North Carolina. Our budget is that of $10,000. Our sponsorship funds right now are that of $6,000. So those are the ones on the right. They range from national sponsorships to even local organizations and even campus organizations as well. So student life and leadership here on campus. And we're seeking funds from the parent grant to help us cover our keynote to our local community organizers and members of UNC's community, or to help us cover the venue here at Carolina's campus. And so our past keynote speakers have been Irene Godinez, and we also had Ricky Hurtado. So we have covered topics around social development, communication, cross-cultural understanding in the Latinx-centered setting. Again, we've had 116 registrants, all ranging from undergraduate students to community members. And we've had up to 25 presenters in our conference discussing diverse topics around the Latinx community here in the Triangle. And the last year, because I have a psychology background, decided to open up a space to talk about mental health, especially in our community where it tends to be stigmatized. And we worked with 4 local Latinx community therapists to have conversations around mental health, well-being, and family well-being at the same time. And so here are pictures of last year's first ever in-person conference. And so as you can see, we have a range of activities where it's collaborative, it's full circle, and those are pictures of some of our presenters last year. And so these are a range of topics that we have discussed during the conference. And I'll give you a second to read over those. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen at this presentation.
Rosario, thank you so very much. Who has a question? Alicia.
Yeah, I might have taken that out. Yeah, I think I took that out. Okay, yes. So our first year virtual, most of them were from UNC. So I would say about 80% were UNC students. Last year, we actually reached more from outside of campus than UNC students. We think it had to do with it being right around spring break. And so we were intentional this year about reaching our UNC students more. And so we are seeing the UNC student numbers go up. So I would say last year about UNC students were about 20 to 30%. And again, I think that was because it was around spring break, and other universities spring break were a little earlier after hours. Thank you for your question.
Other questions?
Well, listen, we really appreciate your presentation today. Rosario, I'll just remind you, you'll hear from the Office of New Student and Family Programs. It'll be in April. We'll let you know the status of the grant.
Okay.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you so much. Of course. Have a good day.
Okay, are we ready, folks? I think we have enough time to have 3 minutes per discussion this time around. And let's start with playmakers. What do we see as the pros and cons of supporting that initiative? Does anyone